Okay.
We have everybody's attention, police, so I want to bring it back. Let's bring it back.
Hello? There's a question on the floor. There's a question on the floor.
I don't understand why I keep getting these tickets, and I know like in other areas and stuff, these people are doing the same type of stuff, and nothing ever, it seems like nothing ever happens to them. So like, what's that all about? Like, I feel like if I went to Central Park and I know people are always drinking in those festivals and stuff like that, and I never see any police there, but when I go to Prospect, like, I have to come here. What's going on?
See, again, it all depends on when officers go out and they make arrests. When officers go out and they give summonses, desk appearance tickets, it's not because officers just want to go out and give you a problem. Communities, tight-knit communities, have precinct council meetings. The community are outraged for certain quality of life issues. And they report these things to the executive officers of the precincts and these summonses. So if you think it's because that your neighborhood is being picked on and you think your neighborhood is not being represented properly, then I would say that, again, get your community together and make noise. Go to the police precincts, speak to the officers. They will make time for you. Just as a local resident, you can walk into any precinct and you can say, I'd like to speak to the commander. And they'll say, what is it about? You'll tell them what your situation is. You may not get the commanding officer, but you will get someone who will come out and hear your complaints. And again, if enough of you get together with those sort of situations, they will listen to you. That's why they come out and they arrest people for open containers. Because the community get tired of what happens. Is it just because of open containers that police are giving summonses? Why are they giving summonses for open containers? People get rowdy. It leads to other things. There's situations where public urination, not only is it gross, it's a biological offense, but then it's indecent exposure, it's public lewdness. You wouldn't want your child walking down the street, and someone relieving themselves up against a tree, or someone stoop where someone lives. This is a community, and that's why they have community court, and people say, well, you know what, I didn't do anything to anyone. I'm not hurting anybody, I had to go to the bathroom. Well, what happens when you erode the quality of life in a person's community? So therefore, we know that there is no such thing as a victimless crime. We know that the community becomes the victim. So you can't say to me, well, you know what, I was just drinking a beer, wasn't bothering anybody, sitting on my steps, wasn't bothering anyone. I just had to go to the bathroom, and the restrooms were closed, and no one would let me go to the bathroom, so I just went between two parked cars. The community is the victim. You spray graffiti on the wall. What do people think when they see graffiti on the wall? They think what? Yeah, there's gangs around. There's something going on around here. I don't want to open a business around here when I think that the gangs are going to come in and they're going to rob me. There must be gangs because I see graffiti all over the wall. I see people's names wherever I go on the walls. So it's the erosion of quality of life in the community. And these little things, if you don't take care of the little things, of course, they get bigger. And that's where the broken window theory comes from. You got to take care of the little small things. I haven't heard from this gentleman back here in a long time. Actually, never, because I've never met you before. So what's your name?
No hablo inglés.
No habla inglés? Okay. No habla español. All right, you'll explain. You'll translate for him, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yo no sé por qué estoy aquí.
He doesn't know why he's here.
All right. ¿Cómo se llama?
¿Cómo se llama?
Carlos.
Oh, see, he understands. Okay.
Estaba en la bicicleta haciendo un delivery para un sitio y me mandaron los oficiales y después de un momento me dijeron, mira, tienes que coger la identificación y el cine y todo. tengo la bicicleta de la...
Uh-huh.
Making a delivery.
He was making a delivery. And he was on, why was he on the sidewalk?
Porque tenía que coger la bicicleta y ponerla para poder
And then tie it up on the post on the side.
Why is this guy in a Spanish call? Annoying me. You put me on the spot. I don't know what we can interpret.
Remember, we can get out of here in 45 minutes, you know. It's only been 30 minutes so far. Another 15 minutes, you can be out of here.
But to make the point with that is that in doing someone who doesn't speak the language at all, and they end up with this, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to respond. And of course, and stuff, at least in the Latin culture and stuff, when they're confronted like that, it's kind of a panic situation. And that's basically it. So,
And you know what? And I understand. And I sort of feel your pain. And again, if we just charged you a fine for just riding your bicycle on the sidewalk, and you really had no clear understanding as to why it happened to you, you know, then I think that would be a travesty of justice. You know, so you're being here. There's a reason why you're here today, right? So we can explain to you that it's illegal to ride bicycles. If you're an adult, if you're a child, it's okay. But if you're an adult, it's illegal to ride bicycles on the sidewalk because you may cause bodily harm to someone.
What's the age, 12? That you
I think it's 12 years old. I'm not certain, but I think it's 12 and younger. Right.
So earlier when you were talking about how like public urination or public drinking or graffiti or things like that are crimes against the community or even like riding bike on the sidewalk because you might hurt somebody, I understand those, you know, and make the community look worse or something like that. But what about just like a little dog running around in the park? Like nobody comes into a neighborhood and sees a little dog running around the park and thinks, oh no, I don't want to open a business here, right?
Small dog. Nice, cute. And you know what? That could be a meal.
You got a little dog, I had a big dog.
That's right. It could be a meal for her big dog. God forbid, but I'm just saying, you know, and she might have left her big dog off the leash because there you go. She's got her dog off the leash, and that's what happens. So you know.
I have a question about public urination. What about like when a mom is in the park with her little son and she lets him urinate in public, like he's 3 years old or something, you know, and he's like just out of diapers but he can't make it to the bathroom. Like, will she get a summons for that?
Let me just say that's discretionary.
She can. She can. That's right.
She can definitely get one, but I will say it's discretionary.
But how is that different? I mean,
It's not. It's not different. I mean, I could say yes, she would get a summons, and then I would hear the public outcry, and the community is like, oh my God, why? You know, it's
not a dog either, though. You know what I mean? Like,
right. It's discretionary. So give me a break. Huh? You know, have you ever said, give me a break? Now, the officer has options. They have discretions. You know, we have meetings with officers and they will tell this who has a dog off the leash and she feels as though she's unable to have her dog off the leash. You know, so you want to be balanced, you know, and giving the summonses and giving everybody equal rights. Caleb, any questions?
They still gave you a summons to come to court.
Does this ever happen? It happens to us.
Yeah, it has to be a couple of times.
It happens at, you know, or I put on my brother's pants today, and in his pants was his wallet. It really wasn't me, it was my brother who did it. You know, it's unfortunate that sometimes, you know, that family will pit against family. You know, and sometimes you have, you know, a sibling who's not doing the right thing, you know, a sibling who's involved in the court system and you're working every day, you're, you know, doing the right thing, you know, you're an upright citizen, but you may have a sibling who's using drugs, abusing drugs, you know, alcohol, you know, who gets arrested and use your name because he's got warrants. He doesn't want to go to jail. And what happens is we then have to have, they take pictures. So we,
And the whole idea of quality of life is so everybody gets this education that they need.
Right.
The summons. At what point you as a facilitator would start making the pitch for services? So after you went around to everybody, and then
Absolutely.
How do you get them in? It's one thing to make the pitch, but it's another thing to really get them to walk across the hall or whatever. How would you go about it?
right. Now, so say we've gone through everyone, we've gone through, we of course took a little bit more time, but we just normally get where it happened, when it happened, and how did you feel about it. We would go through the entire room, and then we would let people know. I just want you to know the difference between traditional court and community courts. Had you gone to a traditional court, you would have probably paid a fine for what happened to you. But because you came through a community-based court within a community that cares about the community, we want this information that you have received today to go back out into the community, to your friends, your neighbors, sisters, brothers, and let them know what happened today, and let them know about the bits of information that you've picked up. And also let them know that community courts are so different because we have so many different services. Services that you would not be able to avail yourselves to if you just paid a fine, walked in the door, said, yes, I'm guilty, Your Honor. You paid a fine, and then you walked out. But today, you found out that we have a job training program for 17 to 21-year-olds. We have a workforce development program for adults, 21 and older. We have drug treatment, a treatment readiness program. We have homeless facilities. We have Medicaid staff from Human Resources Administration here. You would not have known this. And you know what? If all of you are working and you don't need these services, again, that is fine. But I know that everyone has got a lazy brother, cousin, sister, uncle, someone that you know that's hanging out right now who's home while you're here answering a summons because you were on your lunch hour and you work for UPS or whatever and you were delivering packages and you happen to have a beer on a hot day. And now you're sitting here and not working. It could have been at the end of your tour and you parked the truck, gainfully employed. You can always come back to the community court and get services because once you've come through the front door of this court or through the back door of this court, you're always eligible for the different services of this court. The job training, the treatment readiness program if you find yourself in a situation where you're abusing drugs or alcohol. If you want to bring somebody else in who you think could benefit from it, you're always welcome to. You don't get credit. And again, you have to do this all over again. You have to come back and see me. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Now this is a training class with some of your employees to get out into the community. It's fix the little things, isn't it? That's the approach here.
Fix the little things, and I'm actually from the Midtown Community Court in Midtown Manhattan. I've come over to Red Hook, one of our sister projects, to conduct this training today.
And what is the message here?
The message is everyone needs to be on the same page and given the same information. It's the how-to with information. Because although they do possess the information here at Red Hook, they wanted to make sure that everybody was on the same page.
You were talking about things like urinating in the street as being the little thing, and what's the concept there?
Well, people think it's the little thing, and I just had to go to the bathroom, it's no big thing, and we like people to think that's a biological offense. When you urinate in public, you can get a summons for public urination, public lewdness, and indecent exposure because it's all three of those things. And the fact that you walk by with the little child and someone sees this going on, the child could be affected for a very long time. Also, it goes in the air. It's airborne. And what goes up comes down. Everybody gets a bit of it.
But the concept here is that if you don't get at the little things, they become big things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The drinking in public, it's no big deal unless someone gets drunk. Then if they get drunk and they get rowdy, and they become hostile, then someone can get hurt. Someone can get seriously hurt.
And unchecked, that that kind of conduct can accelerate.
That's right.
For next training,
That's
we
right.
go through each one.
Great.
Okay. All right, great.
So we have a child care room on site. And the idea around child care is a lot of what we're trying to do here is eliminate obstacles to why people will use court courage services. Obviously people coming in front of Judge Calabrese, they're mandates, but what we're trying to encourage that people walk in through the front door to voluntarily access the services. And one of the services that we have is a GED class, which is for people who drop out of high school. And one of the major reasons why people drop out of high school is because of teen pregnancy.
So the children in here
Yes.
would be.
Usually,
Can we go in?
yeah, absolutely.
Is anybody in? Yeah.
Hi, do you mind just running a camera crew for a second? Any children? Oh, we have one. Okay, how are you?
Okay.
Good. If I'm doing a
The
tour,
concept here is if somebody comes to court
you got it.
and they got a child, we got a daycare for them so that they don't feel like they have to stay away.
Okay, wait till we get inside to do that piece? Oh, no, we just locked ourselves out. So this here is a child care room, and one of the reasons why we wanted to have a space like this is to eliminate obstacles to why people would use the Justice Center. Obviously, two types of people who use the Justice Center: people who got in trouble with the court and have some types of mandates, and this is going to help them complete their community service or their other alternatives to incarceration. But also, as a community court, what we're trying to do is get people from the community to walk in through the front door, and some of the barriers to completing services is that they don't have a place to leave their children.
So if they have children and they happen to have a court date, they're looked after here.
Absolutely. And if you have ongoing program like GED, which starts in September and goes through June, every day of the week, as you're learning, getting your education upstairs, you can leave your children here. And not only is it a safe space, but it's also a space where they do educational training here as well.
You don't mind us taking a picture?
No.
Okay, good, thank you.
Thank you. No problem. Sorry. That the criminal justice system is not this big negative thing.
So let me get this straight. This is your 2006 baseball teams that you sponsor.
Yes.
A court sponsors baseball teams.
Yes, and actually, Heinz's Heroes is the Brooklyn DA Charles Heinz, and we also have a team called the Defenders, which is sponsored by Legal Aid.
And the idea is?
The idea is to engage young people in proactive programming, get them to know people who work in the criminal justice system, and let them know that we're not much different than you guys. And you do it around baseball, and it's a great thing.
So you sponsor 5 teams here?
We have 5 here, and there's 5 others. There's 10 in total, with about 150 kids who participate. It's free to participate. They get uniforms, trophies, and we've been doing it for 10 seasons now.
And it works?
Yeah, absolutely. Roberto, can you come over here for the Housing Research Center? Because I want you to, they may have you on camera, so get your stuff ready.
Okay.
So you want to speak? So as we're walking,
So we'll walk around the corner?
Swap around the corner.
so as we're walking, you want me to just say we're coming up to the courtroom and
Yeah, this is our main court, and you'll notice to whatever, and
Anytime,
you
right?
know, a couple things you deal with. Maybe you go on the,
outside?
yeah, on that side.
Okay. Yep. So, we're coming up on the main courtroom, and, obviously we talked about a lot of the problem solving that goes on inside, but the other things that I wanted to point out are some of the architectural things that we took into account. One is you'll see when you go inside a little later, the big windows with a lot of natural light coming in. You'll even notice things like the window, where the windows are round. There's no rough edges with the windows, and I think a lot of what we're trying to do is that courts don't need to be this place that make you feel uncomfortable. But actually, yes, you got in trouble, something is going on in your life, but the court is about seeing how they can resolve the issue and making people feel at home. And I think that's what we're trying to accomplish here.
Judge looks at the client's eye level.
Absolutely. When you look at the bench, the whole idea is that the judge has a lot of communication with the defendants, and we didn't want to raise the bench so high where the defendant was looking up. We actually wanted there to be a conversation and a dialogue, and we've learned through a lot of studies that people actually feel connected to a judge who's asking questions, who feel like they care, and you'll see that again when you go inside the courtroom.
And this is one the main court. Did you have another court here as well?
We do. We also have a courtroom where teenagers do what's called youth court.
Yeah.
And in the youth court, they get cases that are referred by the local police. They're low-level offenses, where the teens act as the judge, the lawyers, and the advocates, and they also render decisions similar to our judge, such as community service, letters of apology. And for us, we thought this was a really interesting way to engage young people in the criminal justice process.
And the concept here is to fix the little things.
Absolutely. Fix the little things and get community to buy into fixing the little things. That we're not this organization who's going to come in and make your neighborhood better. That people from the community will serve as agents to help make the community better.
Is it working?
I think so. I mean, we've done a lot of surveys. When we first came to Red Hook, we did a survey asking people what they felt about the court system. Only 12% of the people gave a favorable rating. 2 years ago, we did the same survey and asked about the Red Hook Community Justice Center, and 75% of the people gave it a favorable rating. People still go to jail. People still lose their home. But with that being said, they appreciate the process that happens here and the respect that they're treated with.
Want to stop that part for now? Yeah, it's not confrontational, right?
Exactly.
Just find out what he's. Okay. Anytime you're ready.
Okay. So here's the entrance of the Justice Center, and I really feel like what helps set the tone is the court officers we have on staff. A lot of times when you walk into a courtroom, so many people already have this feeling like, oh, what's going to happen to me here?
Yeah.
And having these officers here, making them feel comfortable, making them feel like, here's where you go, here's what's going to happen today, it already kind of puts them in a feeling like, all right, this court cares. And so setting that tone, and then obviously having this beautiful space, I think really makes people feel more at home and more comfortable.
And obviously, like any courtroom, there's security.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, security is paramount. I mean, that's what they're here to do and make sure that people here are safe. But at the same time, I also
Just take one step back, Brian.
Yep.
Okay, good. Anytime.
Yeah. Captain, from a policing point of view, how's this changed? This community court changed the work that you had here before and then and now?
Well, I think it's definitely a positive thing. It's definitely a positive addition to the neighborhood. It allows the police department to attend meetings, hear issues with the community, along with the judge, along with the district attorney member. And when you have all the police and the district attorney and the judge attending the same meetings, hearing the same issues, you could, after the meeting, you could step back and devise a plan of action to actually fix the problem.
So there's no disconnect between all of you. Everybody is on the same page.
Everyone's on the same page. Fantastic relationship that we have, the police department with the Justice Center.
Now they're talking inside that it's sort of the broken glass theory. You fix the little things. When the window's broken, you fix it.
Absolutely.
And that's the same with
that's
individuals coming through here.
Absolutely, and that's the backbone to our success. The police departments. If you attack the little things, the big things should take care of themselves. For instance, if you or I are walking down the street and see 4 or 5 individuals
Sorry, Cap, I'm going to stop right there. My battery just went.
That's all right. This is good stuff.
We can pick
Take
that up.
2?
Yeah, just take 2 here for 1 sec here.
Let's just get into it.
Who's that makeup guy?
I can go on about that. That's a good question.
Yes.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Good talk, Mark.
That's it?
Yep.
So you were saying about
The broken windows theory?
broken window, yeah?
Yeah, that's probably a big part of our success. The key to our success is the broken windows theory, meaning if you pay attention to and attack the smaller problems, the big problem should take care of itself. For instance, I think a great example of that would be if you or I were walking down to the corner right now and we observed 4 or 5 individuals on the corner hanging out, and maybe 2 of them had a beer, just drinking an open bottle of beer or any sort of alcohol. Maybe to the average person, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But to me and to the police, that is a big deal because that open bottle of alcohol has got potential to explode. Meaning when people start drinking, people start fighting.
Yeah.
When fights happen, people can get hurt or killed. So that open bottle of beer could be a potential homicide.
Down the road.
Absolutely, maybe even moments after drinking. The innocent game of playing dice in the street, that could turn into robberies, that can turn into violence also. So these are the things that we concentrate on, lower level offenses, and the Red Hook Justice Center is a perfect thing to have because that's what that's where we bring all our lower level offenses, meaning criminal court summonses, violations, and or misdemeanor arrests.
Describe this neighborhood as police knew it, say 15 years ago.
15 years ago, I could tell you, if you attended a meeting, a police meeting, or maybe a community council meeting with the police department, here in this neighborhood, a big complaint would be criminal problems. They're hearing people shooting guns. It's unsafe to take my kids out. There's drug dealers in the park. I would invite you to a meeting now, and a chief complaint might be noise. Might be excessive noise, might be partying, might be a bar that people hang out outside smoking cigarettes all night. Not saying that we don't have other issues, we certainly do, but saying 15 years ago, if I stood up in a meeting and said, in 2007, a chief complaint is going to be noise, I think some people would step back and say, this guy must be out of his mind. But we've made so much, we've gone so far ahead. In 14 years, we've reduced overall crime just under 70% in this precinct. When I talk about overall major crimes, I'm talking about murders, I'm talking about felony assaults, robberies, grand larcenies, car theft. I'm talking about major crimes has reduced 70% in the last 14 years, which is significant, a significant reduction.
Now that's a combination of the courts and police action. It's a partnership.
Absolutely. I consider the success, or I'll give the success to three things.
Yeah.
Obviously, my cops work harder, smarter than ever. A fantastic bunch of individuals, very self-motivated. The community coming to the meetings, letting us know what's going on, picking the phone up, calling us when there's a problem, and the Red Hook Justice Center.
So 15 years ago, this was a neighborhood you didn't want to come to.
I wouldn't say...
Cab drivers wouldn't come here.
Well, I think in the back of their mind, I think people would be looking over their shoulder, absolutely.
And now?
And now it's one of the safest neighborhoods in the city.
It was written up at one time, I think, in Life magazine. James told me that it was they called Red Hook one of the 10 worst neighborhoods in the U.S.
I've never heard of that. I could tell you this, about 15 years ago, there was a very infamous incident that occurred here where a school principal was shot to death. His name is Patrick Daly, just a few blocks from here. And that shooting, it brought Red Hook under the spotlight, and Red Hook gained national attention. And the attention that was brought here, that Red Hook was out of control. And that's when people started taking a long, hard look at Red Hook and what's going on there, and what could we do to fix Red Hook and improve it.
That was the tipping point.
I think so. I think that was definitely one of the final things, yeah.
And this is good.
The Red Hook Justice Center, I can't say enough positive. I'm a believer. Prior to me coming here, I'd never worked in a precinct that had any sort of center or justice center or anything remotely similar. I'll go to say I worked in about 9 other precincts throughout the city. I worked in Manhattan, Brooklyn, Staten Island. I didn't know about the Justice Center until about 1.5 years ago. I think it's a very special thing. I'm glad to have it, and I contribute a lot of the success that we're having here to the Justice Center.
Now, just on another note, from what I understand in New York, aggressive panhandling is not allowed, right?
Aggressive panhandling, correct.
Yeah. You can panhandle if you have a sign and you're sitting on the, and not interfering with anybody's personal life, right?
Correct.
Also, you can't sleep in the streets, right?
Well, it's all sorts of different issues with sleeping in the streets. If there's some statutes where you might be blocking traffic, you might be if people have to walk around you, stuff like that. This neighborhood, Red Hook, that we patrol, that we're responsible for, we don't have. We're fortunate enough not to have those issues with homelessness or panhandling in this neighborhood.
But the issues of homelessness or sleeping in the streets, panhandling, they threaten the safety of individuals, don't they?
Well, they could. One might feel uncomfortable if you could.
Perception is anyway.
Yeah, you can envision yourself or your wife or your girlfriend or going to an ATM machine, someone watching you withdraw money, then asking you for money. You don't know what the intent is.
Yeah.
Is the intent that he really wants me to give him money like a charity gift, or is it intent to watch how much I'm taking and to rob me when I walk around the corner?
So that kind of behavior is not tolerated.
Well, that's the type of behavior that we watch closely, obviously, absolutely.
Because what's different from New York now to the problems we have people sleeping in the streets, we have aggressive panhandling, and people don't feel safe.
Yeah, and we had the same issues here years ago. Absolutely had the same issues. Squeegee people washing the windows, asking for sticking their hand in the car for money. People.
That's now tolerated now.
We don't approve of that now.
Yeah. And that's made the perception, I think, for people to feel safer in the street.
I think that has a large part of it. I think graffiti has another perception of lawlessness. If you drive around, you see graffiti all over the place. It could give one a perception that there's no rules, there's no law.
And that's not tolerated.
That's not tolerated either, graffiti. The people hanging out on the corner drinking, that gives another perception. Would you feel comfortable walking by that group at 12 at night? I don't know, I would. So I think when you couple all of that together, it creates a bigger problem.
And then when you find a person who's sleeping in the streets, the rule of thumb is you take them to a shelter?
Yeah, well, we offer them assistance. Do they need a place to live? Are they sick? If they're sick, we'll take them to the hospital, obviously.
Yeah.
We'll try and help them out, find somewhere to live, a shelter. The Justice Center, we're talking about the Justice Center standing here, they have programs here. This is something where if Mike Kemper lived in Red Hook, I could come here for computer training, and if I had issues, I could come here for my GED. Let's say I had a child, and the excuse was, well, I can't go because I have a child and I have child care issues. They have a babysitting service here while they're training you. Where could you get that? So this is just to piggyback into that. It's not only about sending people to jail. It's about getting to the root of the problem and trying to fix it and trying to help people.
That's all positive, isn't it?
I think so, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Have those things we talked about, you know, the panhandling, the justice system, can't sleep in the streets, providing shelter for homeless, fixing the little things, change New York for the better?
In my opinion, yeah. You'd have to ask around. I would say, yeah. I think crime is down significantly. I think people feel comfortable coming to New York. I think when people feel comfortable, more people come, and I guess economically, it's a good thing for the city also.
Yeah. And for everybody involved.
It's a win-win.
Great.
Thank you for a second.
But anyway, appreciate you doing this.
Thank you, sir.
Just to bear with us for a second while we get
a few cover shots. Just
couple of
so
cutaways.
just Brian's going to be chatting. You're just going to be listening to Brian.
So I think if I've got my numbers right, that this, you know, the Red Hook, that the incident with the principal and everything was around in 93, 94, and the court came on board
shortly
thereafter. Right. They had the one in...
This, I think, is an interesting statistic. Just to go back to that meeting.
Yeah.
15 years ago, if I would have told you we're going to go 18 months without a homicide, without a single homicide,
people laugh at you.
I think people would step back and say, yeah, okay. We just went 18 months without a single homicide in Red Hook,
wow.
Which is tremendous. I mean, that speaks for
We
itself.
used to have shooting, I think the judge was telling us that there used to be shootings here almost on a daily basis. Not shootings, but gunshots.
Shooting incidents, I'll tell you this, we've reduced 80% in the last 14 years. These are raw numbers.
Yeah.
81% reduction in the amount of people shot here in this precinct in the last 14 years. It's tremendous. I mean, just think about that. 81%.
Yeah.
And if you put that into numbers, 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know, these are people.
And that relates to every crime almost too.
That's
probably.
shootings.
Yeah.
That's shooting incidents. Anytime someone's shot, whether it's as a result of a robbery, as a result of anytime someone is shot, we've reduced that by 81% in 14 years. It's tremendous.
And other crimes down as well.
It's tremendous.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Christopher Barnes on update.
Yeah, the cameras are not pointing. Could you swing that away as much as you can?
Office medical, social services, and behavioral services in Brooklyn.
And how long has he been with ICL?
He's been there for quite some time now.
But there was a period when he was out of compliance, or out of touch with them.
Right, where Medicaid was inactive.
So do you like ICL?
Yes.
And do you see a particular doctor there?
Yes.
Do you like the doctor you see? And is he taking, are they reporting he's taking his medication?
That is correct, Judge. He is in compliance with his medication.
Okay.
He's also going to continue mental health counseling at Beth Israel.
Oh, so he doesn't get that at ICL?
ICL is just once a month with a psychiatrist
Okay.
to make sure he gets his prescriptions. And then he does his long-term counseling at Beth Israel.
So tested today?
Yes, he was positive for benzodiazepines.
Yes.
Prescription.
Any problems with your medication at all?
No.
Okay. And I asked you last time, I'll ask you again, do you feel better being on medication?
Yes.
You look a lot, you look a lot better. You look fully in control, responsible, and on top of things. That's excellent. That's great. So how often is he going to be going then to Beth Israel?
Judge, he goes multiple times a week, at least 3 times a week.
Excellent. And so the Beth Israel person you like too?
Yes.
Okay. So you're getting good counseling at Beth Israel and ICL, the one time a month. Okay. It was an open plea of guilty because of his prior record. And it was as long as the clinic is recommending. So how long is the clinic recommending?
Judge, the clinic is recommending 6 months of counseling. However,
Okay.
I know this client will remain ongoing with this counseling, but for this case, I'm recommending 6 months.
Okay. I mean, do you see the relationship between you getting arrested and committing, because you pled guilty, to a new case and you having had your Medicaid turned off and not going to counseling and not being on medication?
I've been receiving counseling, but I had a problem with my Medicaid.
Right.
That's the,
So you didn't get your medication, right?
Right, that's where I mixed up.
But I mean, do you see what happens when you're not taking your medication?
It wasn't that it's that I didn't have the process of getting my medication because my Medicaid was restricted.
Right.
And
But I mean, you weren't taking your medication. And quite frankly, the person I saw when you were arrested is a different person than I see stand. You weren't in control of things. You weren't in control of yourself. And you ended up committing, because again, you pled guilty on that shoplift. You understand that?
Yes.
And so now it's why it's so important for you. Now, if you have any problems with getting that medication, getting the medicine, anything like that, just let us know. And you're ready to do 6 months outpatient. That'll be the mandate of the court, Mr. Cleary. And okay, and Mr. Barnes, it is the official mandate of the court. And how long do you want me to put this on for?
Judge, he's demonstrated that these people with this appointments can go out 3 weeks. I think it's 7/13.
Okay.
7/12, 7/13.
Sure, 7/13. 7/13, that's a Friday. Is that a good day of the week to come back to court? Okay. Update. Hold on, I think, yeah, there is an order of protection which is extended. People are not aware of any violations of the order of protection, right? Yes.
I don't remember the store. I don't even want to.
It's the CVS 150 Court Street that you have to stay out of, okay? There are plenty of different drugstores. Okay.
I don't remember, the person that even filed all the protection.
Well, it was part of your plea agreement, so it stays in effect, but it's not causing you any problems. So 7/13 update. Right, Ed.
Just have a seat there with paperwork, right? Still issuing on me. Okay.
Yes, that's
Jail
fine.
case in the back, 2007 and 12-4. Francisco Vasquez.
Can you read it again now? All right. Do you want to, you can, yeah. Just read it again.
Jail case in the back, 2007 CK docket and then 2099. Francisco Vasquez, charged with 22003. Then it also has 2006 docket and then 3244. Francisco 3244. Francisco Vasquez. And 2006 and then 2397. Francisco Vasquez.
240-30, 250-20, serving of violence, reporting deposition. Defendant was found with one metal pipe containing crack cocaine residue. Defendant has 2 open cases here. He does have felony convictions. He has misdemeanor convictions. He has a bench-warrant history. He has a high risk for flight according to CJA. The offer would be, he's also Operation Spotlight, therefore it's a year, or 1 year of residential treatment, since outpatient doesn't seem to be working. We would dismiss if it was 1 year of residential treatment. The bail recommendation is $3,000.
Did you have your social worker speak to the defendant at all? Mr. Lugas? I mean, you're saying that you want 1 year residential treatment. I don't know if
Based on the fact that he already has 2 cases, one of which he is doing outpatient treatment on, and the fact that he's recently been arrested for metal type of crack cocaine residue, and he's been in treatment for some time, it would be clear to us that outpatient doesn't seem to be working.
Would you agree that outpatient is no longer a possibility?
I sent a letter dated May 17th from the program indicating that this client was making extreme progress.
Okay.
The client that was recently set to graduate from this program as of next week. He demonstrated the ability to have at least or up to 14 weeks clean in outpatient treatment.
And what's the new charge, Mr. DeLugas?
Metal pipe of crack cocaine residue.
Does the clinic have a recommendation?
Judge, yes, my recommendation after speaking with this counselor at Turning Point is that this client start back up again with outpatient treatment at Turning Point. 6 months duration, and he is due back in treatment on Monday.
Would they increase the attendance?
They will increase his attendance was always increased. He was always in an intensive outpatient treatment program, so he would probably start up again on a 5-day-a-week program.
Is he interested in a court resolution of that? 6 months outpatient treatment.
He is interested. Yes, that's up to him.
Does he wish to enter a plea of guilty on the new case? Your lawyer says you want to plead guilty to criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 7th degree. It's a Class A misdemeanor. Have you discussed this plea with your attorney?
Yes.
Is that what you want to do, sir, plead guilty?
Yes.
It's charged Mr. Vasquez at 323 57th Street, 5 o'clock in the evening, June 21st, 2007, in Brooklyn. You were in possession of crack cocaine residue, basically a crack pipe with cocaine residue. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
By pleading guilty, you're giving up a right to a trial by jury, a right to remain silent at the trial, and to have the people prove their case against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand?
I understand.
By pleading guilty, you're agreeing to do 6 months, which is now going to be intensive outpatient treatment. During this period of time, I'm going to expect you to be attending regularly and testing clean.
Yes, sir.
You must, and obviously be monitored very carefully by the court, by our clinic, and by the program. You complete that treatment, my sentence will be a conditional discharge, which will be a period of time where you will have to stay out of trouble, and you could be violated if you're rearrested. But it will be a conditional discharge. You fail to complete that treatment, you can go to jail for 1 year. Do you understand?
I understand.
Knowing the terms of this plea, do you still want to plead guilty?
Yes, sir.
Then what happened, Mr. Vasquez, now that you've entered this plea of guilty, to someone who was doing so well, who stood in front of me on June 14th, said 14 weeks clean, you knew the dates, you had a sponsor, you knew the... What happened?
Just thinking back to my son, I was cleaning up some toys and he turned into a rat.
Well, without going into details, there's no question that you have suffered a horrible tragedy. You wrote a letter to the court a while back explaining that. But even though that is a very, very difficult tragedy, at some point you've got to, at least, well, you've got to stay clean. You can't use that as an excuse.
Yes, sir.
And you know that. You probably discussed that, man. You must have discussed that for months in counseling.
Discuss it.
Connor,
Yes.
the people will reconsider our position on the dismissal as treatment progresses.
Okay. That certainly is a fair position. And I would have done residential, I would have required residential treatment if our clinic social work professionals were recommending it. Well, you know, what do you think? Is this outpatient going to work?
It's gonna work. Do my best.
Who is going to attend your recognition ceremony that had been scheduled because you were doing so well? Carlos, okay. It says you have the opportunity to have family members present. Is there anybody in your family that you're close to that would?
My wife is.
Okay,
She's here now.
okay. And she's in court today?
Yes.
Okay. You had a sponsor. Why didn't you just try calling your sponsor?
It just, I let it take me over.
Okay, obviously the program is going to address the specific issue that Mr. Vasquez has to deal with. And let's put it on for a very short date. Want to put it on for maybe 1 week?
Thinking Thursday after treatment day, Judge?
Okay. Should be clean, should be testing clean then. 6/28. You will be appearing in front of me
Yes, sir.
a number of times
Yes, sir.
to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Now, are you recommending a sanction?
Judge, I recommend that this client meet with my caseworkers immediately to kind of discuss how far we've been. I'm not going to recommend any additional sanction other than him to meet with myself and to meet with the case manager here.
Okay, that seems like a great idea. Do you have anyone who specializes in bereavement? When's the last time you spoke to someone like a grief counselor?
No, just Peggy.
I'm sorry?
Just my counsel.
Okay,
Peggy.
okay. And was she helpful?
Yes, sure.
Can we all agree if there's one more relapse, it's residential?
Judge, I absolutely agree with that.
You understand?
Yes, I am.
And there really can be no excuse for a relapse at this point.
Judge, it was also explained to Mr. Vasquez in our assessment prior to appearing for you.
Okay. 6/28 to test clean. I'll see you then, Mr. Vasquez.
You know, since you take this lunch recess.
Oh, can we do the outs? We have some people, don't we?
You're going to second the floor for this time.
What? What? I'm sorry? But don't we have some, do we have any people in the audience waiting? Oh, they're all waiting for jail. Okay. And the jails are not ready? Okay. All right. Yeah, okay, now that's true. Well, they just gave us the stuff. What? Really? Okay. That's my fault then. Are you guys getting out?
Cute little guy. It's all good. Cute. Cute work.
Shoot up.
That would be great.
Judge Rex, right there. Came up just a little bit closer.
Oh, you prefer that? Okay.
Is that
okay.
a hard ball with all the good signatures on it?
Which one? Oh, it's a hard ball from our Little League, from Red Hook Little League.
Guys, okay.
From our Little League, yeah. I'm proud of that hard ball. Signed by the championship team last year.
Yeah.
So something I'm very proud of and I keep up on my desk. Yeah.
And you take part in the
I'll go out. So usually the police captain throws out the first ball, which I really like because again it shows respect of all of us, respect of the Little League kids, respect of the Little League administration, respect of the judge because I'm out there, for the captain, and it gives the captain, I mean, it's a small thing, but at the same time it's a significant thing. Here's everyone waiting for the police chief in your community to throw out the first ball for Little League. And the captain loves it, and he's a great captain. We're really fortunate to have him, Captain Kemper. And it's a nice example. I think a local court can set an example for the community. So we do appreciate, at least we respect the police, that's for sure, and as a courthouse and as their role in the community. And senior citizens are people that we always respect. So, for example, our court will go over at times and make sure that if the seniors need any help with housing, need any repairs in their apartment, need any assistance paying the rent, that we could give them obviously through the usual means. But we show respect for our seniors on a regular basis, because I think we set an example for the community. I think that's an important example to set. The seniors in Red Hook have been through very, very difficult times. There literally was gunfire in the streets in the 1990s, and they didn't leave. They stayed. Our seniors have been there 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And they stayed through all this. And now they've seen the great renaissance that's happened with Red Hook. But at the same time, it's important that we respect our seniors. And I think as any other institution in the community, we can set an example.
Describe Red Hook when you came to now as a community.
Well, Red Hook when we came was on the rise, to be fair, because things were going well. But 1992 was December 17th, 1992, was probably the darkest day in Red Hook, and that's when our local school principal, Patrick Daly, was killed. And he went out to find some kids who were truant from school. He heard they were in a specific area, the center of Red Hook, literally. He went out to bring them back to school. He was caught in a crossfire between two drug gangs and killed. He was an innovative person. He was bright. He was enthusiastic. He was a model for Red Hook, a shining light for Red Hook. And unfortunately, he was murdered that day. Now, our district attorney prosecuted that case, got convictions against both drug gangs, which was an interesting legal conviction, but wanted to do more for the community, and especially when he learned more about the unique nature of Red Hook and how desperate Red Hook was. And in fact, one national magazine labeled it one of the top 10 crack-infested communities in the United States. And so from there, the Justice Center, Center for Court Innovation, started planning the Justice Center in the mid-90s. We started a youth court. We started the Red Hook Little League. We started the AmeriCorps program working out in the community. And this court opened in April of 2000. And we have been a major part, I would say, of the renaissance of Red Hook, which other institutions certainly should take credit for. But, you know, with Red Hook, there's a lot of credit to go around because things are really going well.
This is a very different court, isn't it?
It's definitely a different court. It's much different than our traditional courthouse. We try to solve the underlying problem that brought the defendant to court. But first of all, we're a regular court. And so for us, our due process rights come first. Problem solving comes second. But oftentimes, with all the tools I have, from job training and placement, to drug treatment, to mental health treatment, to a tremendous amount of youth counseling, youth evaluations, youth counseling, youth programs, we can come up with the resolutions that both sides will use to resolve the case. Monitor the person's attendance and get that person on track. The key to the court is that you have social work professionals doing those assessments and evaluations. They're professionals in that area, I'm not. Hopefully I will be able to back up their social work recommendation, professional recommendation, with the power of the court to get people back on track, to get their lives back on track. And they're monitored very carefully, and they're not let go until they are doing exactly what they need to do. But what happens is you get a better result for the community because the defendants come through and get their lives back on track. A better result for the courts because we're not recycling people through the court system, we're getting to the underlying issue. And then a better result for the defendant and the defendant's family and the defendant's community. You know, you see individual defendants and you think of individual defendants, but with these defendants, there's oftentimes a spouse. There's certainly someone significant that they're living with, whether they're married or not. There are children. I mean, there's a whole number of people that may be affected by this person's behavior. So you get a defendant back on track, you're helping them, you're helping them. Their children, you're helping their wives and husbands, you're making a major difference in the community. At any given time, I have about 120 people in treatment in our criminal court, and I have about 25 now in treatment on our family court, in our juvenile delinquency cases. People literally aren't getting their lives back on track.
Is it gratifying to see successes?
It's great to see successes, and I found it personally frustrating sometimes to be a judge downtown, because you would be resolving cases with the back of your mind thinking this person's coming back, and when you have a 17-year-old and you're looking, you know, a 17-year-old with a small crime, let's say he doesn't pay his $2 to get on our subway system, but no one really looks and says, wait a second, this is 11 o'clock in the morning, how come this kid's not in school? Well, if this kid's not in school and he's not in school every day, he's coming back. And, you know, it may not be for jumping that turnstile again. Next time he may be taking somebody's, you know, iPod or something.
You try to prevent that.
We try to prevent that. Yeah, we try, when we see an issue right away, we try to get to that underlying issue, get the kid back on track, have a resolution that doesn't affect them, if appropriate, have a resolution that doesn't affect them in terms of not having a criminal record, but they have to earn that and get their lives back on track. And for most of the people that come through the justice system, they deserve a chance to get their lives back on track before they're locked up.
Is it as simple as, would you prefer jail or do you want help?
Well, it's not that simple, because that help is a very complicated thing. You know, it's interesting. People think that, well, you know, jail is the worst thing that you can do to someone, and to a certain extent, I understand that it is. But when you're dealing with people who've been arrested 5, 10, 15, 20, I have one person who's been arrested, I believe, over 100 times. They've been to jail. They don't want to go to jail, but they can do jail, and they know exactly what it's like. Getting treatment, sometimes for some people, is much more difficult. Getting treatment makes them face up to some of the problems in their lives. They have to face up to the fact that, for example, and this is what people have told me, that their 12-year-old daughter hasn't spoken to them in 2 years, that their wife left them, that they lost their house. I mean, these are major, significant issues that have happened in their lives, and they now, once they get clean, they're saying to themselves, well, you know, I never graduated from high school, what am I going to do? So it's a very difficult thing sometimes for treatment. We monitor them very carefully, and we can set them up with adult education. We can set them up with job training and placement. We can give them a way to change their lives.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Hello.
Take it.
Hello? Yeah. Yeah, can you call in 10 minutes? Bye. Sorry,
Just
in
when we get
case.
international people, that happens here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people from the judge from Liverpool was here last week, and that's what happened to him.
I think it
He
goes
can
beyond
only,
that.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you, Your Honor, you've had several visitors here from Vancouver. And,
Yes.
and they, I think, have told you about our problems.
We've had some great, very impressive people come here from Vancouver. Yes.
You know about our problems then?
They discuss some of their problems. What I really know about it is Red Hook. But I mean, I noticed that you have Chief Judge Stansfield, Judge Gove I've met, you have Inspector Lemke. I mean, I can tell you these are impressive people who really seem to want to get a handle of some of Vancouver's problems and seem you know, completely capable of doing that. These are very impressive people that came here.
Would it seem, given the experience of Red Hook and what it used to be like and what it is now, that this is part of the answer for us?
I think you have to decide if the answer for you, but I can tell you this is the only way to handle these cases. I mean, it's your decision, but I think your answer is going to be yes when you see how cases are handled, because what we're doing is we're paying attention to the low-level cases. And what the New York City Police Department has shown is that you pay attention to the low-level cases, and what they call the index crime or the serious felonies come down. And you could look at the history of New York to show that. I mean, New York is something like 249th on the list of major cities' crime. And that's because NYPD pays attention to the low-level cases. What we do as a court is we do the same thing. We follow up on low-level cases. We pay attention to them. I don't just shuffle people through the system. I don't just take care of the possession of a crack pipe with residue with 10, 20, 30 days jail, like the traditional approach to these kinds of cases, and you have an addict going in and you have an addict coming out. I may give that person an opportunity to get back on track without going to jail, getting social work, professional evaluation, have them monitored to make sure they're doing exactly what they need to do in their testing, and they have to test clean for a substantial period of time before they're released on the case.
And you're having results?
Oh, we definitely have results. The majority of those 120 people at any given time are doing well. And believe me, if they're not doing well, they're back in front of me very, very frequently until they are doing well. So what happens is we pay attention to our cases. So for people who want their courts tough on crime, you have a court that's not shuffling through the system with the recycling that comes out. You have a court that's paying attention to these cases and taking them seriously. For people who want justice with compassion, with all the services we're bringing to the table, we have many different ways to help people get their lives back on track.
No, not to put you on the spot, but the visitors you had here from Vancouver, I mean, I'm telling you, this sounds like we have this problem in a big way. And just knowing how, if you have that personal connection with people and you care and you help them, this can work, can't it?
There's no question it can work. And I cover 200,000 people in my jurisdiction. So it can work in a larger area. And it can, it's the only way to handle these cases.
Be preventative.
Be preventative, get to the underlying issue that brought the person to court. You're never going to stop the recycling unless you figure out what brought the person to court. You want to punish a person for shoplifting, but you're not going to look at the fact that they're shoplifting because they've got a drug addiction. They need to steal something that they're going to sell. You're never going to stop that shoplifting. You could punish the person for shoplifting, you're never going to stop it. We have people shoplifting for drug addictions. We have people shoplifting because they don't have any money. They shoplift food. We have to look at the underlying issues, and we have to address that underlying issue. And the other thing we do here, I don't know if you have this situation, but we see a lot of teenagers. And the teenagers are literally on the border. They're at an important part of their lives to make the decision which way they're going to go. And it is I call it a kid-by-kid battle to try to divert them from drug gangs. These are teens who have dropped out of high school. They're basically hanging around all day. And the drug gangs are using them and getting them involved with the lure of the substantial money that they can make. Now, they're not, most of them are not too far down the road. They're not out there, making major sales and things like that. Most of these kids are just being sucked in to the drug gangs. And it is a kid-by-kid battle to show them that there is another way to do this, that they can get a high school equivalency diploma, that with that high school equivalency diploma, they can go to college. And when they get a high school equivalency diploma, we have a GED classroom on the second floor. We stop everything in our courtroom. And right in this room, we have a graduation ceremony because we want them to understand how important it is for them that they did this. And it's not an easy thing to get your high school equivalency degree. So they get that, and we also make sure that they give substantial counseling so they understand that they can go to college. And there's a whole different approach that they can do. But it is a kid-by-kid battle. It involves curfew monitoring. It involves testing where appropriate. But it can be done. And it's worth, as a court system, as a society, as a community court, whatever you like to say, it's worth putting that time and effort into your teenagers, into the young people. Because if you don't get to that issue, the court system is going to see these people time and time again. And under our system, they're going to end up going up to state prison, time and time again. So it's worth putting a lot of time and effort into 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, for example, and diverting them now, before they become, a regular person that's coming to your court system, to your criminal court system.
You talked about the police doing the little things. One thing that's different here, I noticed, you walk down the streets, there's nobody sleeping on the streets, there's no aggressive panhandling. We have both those problems. Are those some of the little things?
There are some of the little things. Now, the mayor's office actually has a program to assist the homeless. And they will actually go out and they'll literally, they don't drag people in. They literally speak to people, offer services, coax them, I guess, because I've seen it a few times. But they're not dragging somebody in. But usually with the assistance and with the services that they can actually find, with the shelters being better, being safer, you're going to get people actually going to those shelters and taking advantage of them. So that's certainly one thing that's happened.
It's against the law to sleep on the streets, I think, isn't it?
It is a violation of a code to sleep on the streets, usually.
And
yes.
Same with aggressive panhandling.
The aggressive panhandling, yes, but with our community, it's half the people might complain about the person, the other half will be giving money to the person. They are not usually in a position where they're bothering the public too much, and they understand that.
I just wanted to say that you've had a litany of cities that have followed the Red Hook model.
Yes.
And they've had success, I believe.
Yes, the North Liverpool Community Justice Center has had so much success, and we were privileged to have Judge Fletcher visit us last week. He's a fabulous judge. They've had so much success that they've announced their plans to roll out 10 more community courts across the UK. Australia's community court in Melbourne just opened up in January, and I understand that that's a great project and doing really well. South Africa opened up a court in Durban, and I understand that the police apparently and the court system are so thrilled with the progress of that court that they're opening up 17 more across South Africa. Scotland right now is looking at a community court here. What happens to some jurisdictions, Scotland and New Zealand, for example, and the UK, is that they realize that, you know, it's not necessarily, if you don't want to take a compassionate approach, that's fine, just look at dollars and cents. They're running out of jail cells in Scotland and New Zealand and the UK, and they simply don't have the space to put people in jail, and they may or may not want to spend the money to build more prisons. And quite frankly, I don't think you should. That's their call, but you can take this kind of approach. What happens at Red Hook is because we take our cases more seriously than the traditional courthouse, and because I have all of the tools, we get significantly less people going to jail. Because we'll give them an opportunity, we'll monitor them, we'll make sure they're doing what they need to do. When they go to jail at Red Hook, we take our cases more seriously, so they end up, for the most part, going to jail longer at the Red Hook Community Justice Center than they do in our traditional courthouse. You'll get the opportunity, even if you've had a number of arrests, depending upon what they are, but for the most part, you'll get the opportunity to get your life back on track. If you don't take advantage of this opportunity, we take our cases more seriously, and so therefore you do end up going to jail longer here than you do in our traditional courthouse. You and I know that if you have a heroin addict who's not addressing his or her issue and is not taking care of that addiction at all, when they're out of jail, they're going to go back to using drugs. And in terms of using drugs, they're going to go back to committing crime to support their addiction.
So you have to help
back in our community. Well, so either you have to take advantage of that, or you're going to end up being removed from society longer here than you are in the traditional courthouse.
And that isn't good for anybody.
It's not good for anybody.
Okay. Judge, can I
Anything
just
else?
get you to stay there for just a...
Yeah.
Send a guy in and he's out again. You know, he's out before the guy can get back in his prison.
You know, it's funny, I went to Santa Monica, and it was the same thing, and the police were there all day at this conference, and they heard about Red Hook, and they said, wow, that sounds fabulous, but how do you get people to the treatment? I said, well, look, no, you know, they've been to jail, but they don't really want to go to jail. And I said, well, here's our problem. You go to jail in California, Paris Hilton, she was out in 3 days, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe it's true. I don't know. I wasn't part of it, but I'm thinking I guess that's true. You get a certain amount of time, you're out in 3 days.
But thank God for the judge who sentenced her. Say, hey, wait a minute, you know.
It just that seems strange. The court has opened up, and again, you know, we've been fortunate. You get good publicity, you read stuff, and you know, in different places around the world, and that's great. But really, the best thing is, I mean, are they putting the money up to start a court?
Yeah.
And the answer is they are. Australia, Liverpool, South Africa. I didn't even know about South Africa.
Well, we made a commitment in our budget, in our provincial
Oh,
budget,
your program should be
sponsor
fabulous.
this.
I hear your program's going to be fabulous.
Yeah.
So you got a 6-story building or something?
Yeah, they're in it. So you have a bit of, you know, like you have here, a different feel. You know?
Right. The feel of our courthouse is actually important because we get people coming back here that would not go return to court in the traditional courthouse, especially people with mental health issues.
So the openness, the windows, the kind of thing.
Yes, but actually more importantly, like the front door, the greeting for the officers. Yeah, you have mental health issues. You're just not going there, and you're afraid of going there. Here, because you get engaged, because maybe from here you've gone up, you've spoken to a social worker, you're going back to see Phil, you're going back to see your treatment professional, Carlos. You know, you're going back to people that seem to care about you, and we do care about the people in our community. So, and you get that feeling right from the front door with the court officers.
You almost have to get them. Well, you have to know who they are, right?
Right.
Like in your case, you remember that this guy was here before, and
right.
Hey, I had you before me, and I remember what you said.
Oh yeah.
And I understand.
Well, I think that's important. Yeah.
Well, what James told me is you get them to write essays.
Yes. Right.
Regular
why
essay.
it's important for them to get it's like their issues. Why it's important. And so on some of these essays, I've heard my 12-year-old daughter hasn't spoken to me in 2 years. My wife refuses to let me see the 3 kids. You know, I mean, standing in front of me. Now, I could be the kind of judge that says, you know, if you don't get clean, I'm sending you to jail and things like that. Inside, they're saying, well, okay, you send me to jail. You know, you don't want to go, but you can't. But I'd rather take the approach, and it's more effective, I believe. If you don't do what you need to do, obviously you can go to jail because you entered a plea of guilty. Yeah. But here's why you need to get clean. And you pull out their own essay. And when you use their own words against them, like your 12-year-old daughter hasn't spoken to you 3 years, you told me that. I've had people in front of me with 5 kids. Yeah. I had a guy in front of me with 5 kids come and he was really doing really well. His wife showed up, his 5 children show up, and the kids were like young kids, and you know, just like a photograph like that, you know, in sort of height, you know, this, 5 kids, right? Okay, great. Unfortunately, the guy ends up having a relapse a little bit later. I mean, and I said to him, I said, look, you brought those 5 kids in here, and I saw your wife, and you're not getting out of this case until you're clean. And you better believe that, and I'm not giving up on you. Yeah, you got I mean, and that was, well, yeah, I mean, I'm a judge here. What's happened to those 5 kids when this guy's out using all the time? Yeah. You know, you gotta, you know, so I mean, when you start to identify what their triggers are, and they identify their triggers when they write the essay, why it's important for them to get clean. They're identifying their triggers. Yeah. And so later on, when they're not doing what they need to do, you're just using their own words, and you're just reading their own essay to them. Also, again, the jail isn't necessarily a trigger. Jail is okay. You want to send me to jail? I don't want to go, but you know, you could send me to jail. That's not working to get them clean. But when you start identifying their triggers for them, yeah, that's what they need to do. And then again, when as a judge, when you start learning about some of the things, some of the people that they're caring for, and children and things like that. I mean, you know, once you get involved, and you've got like 5 kids, like a person like that, he better get himself clean, because I'm not getting rid of the case until he is. You know, got 5 kids. What's happening to those kids when this guy's using? Well, you know, I mean, it's important for him too, but I mean, you know, you're the father of 5 children, you know, you're living there with your wife. What's happening to your kids when you're out using all the time, and you're not working and things like that? You know, you got to deal with this addiction. So, you do end up becoming connected.
Yeah, that's what happened. I'm sorry, bro. Go, Mister. What's on the seat in my foot? Tell us, man. No, let's go get him. How do we do it? Grab whatever's sweet and talk to you. Bro, I can't expect you. I'm on everybody. Nah, you don't need to read that, right? Bro, come on. Well, just practice, man. Practice. Yo, my key, bro. That's my key. You like, bro? Sweep the dirt. That's going in my eyes, man. You good over here. Why y'all pick when I come out? Y'all want to make me an international star. That's what it is. Don't forget my sneakers. Don't forget my sneakers. Bye, bro. Yeah, I know. They already know about me up there, bro. They can put my face. I don't give a fuck. Y'all can put my face. Yo, as long as you put the star in. Yo, I got dog crap right here. I got dog. Hey, I got dog doodle. Film this, bro. Dog, it's doodle. Hey, it's doodle, man. Like we know that. New York. Yo, this is doodle here, bro. Don't put that in there. Why, who cares? Throw it in the garbage. No, I'm gonna go back to that. Don't put your hand on that. Turn your head, man. Turn your head. Hi, Mom. All right.
So you guys pull the weeds out the back? No. Thank you. That's not gonna work for you. I think I can afford it. I can work this game. I'm paying $7,000.
Where's the camera?
Got some good stuff?
In Brooklyn, how we take the hose and we dump the dirt in the hose.
There's some carpet over there. You can sweep it under the...
Right under the car, right under the dirt, right? Good man. Let them see the dust back inside.
You didn't see that. What's that? What's that glove there? That dude? Oh shit. Literally.
Keep on walking, you will be.
Want me to take the garbage out?
Which one is that? Just whatever's on the foot.
Custom made and bent.
Can I get your first name?
Sammy.
Sammy. Okay.
Should he be down?
Yeah.
Hey, look, there it goes.
Now, the community court itself, it's different than most courts, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And from your point of view, how's it different?
It's different because this court here is not like, this court here is more into putting you in a program or putting you to clean and, to see if it's better than going into jail. doing the cleanup.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather do cleanup for 5 days than do it 5 days in jail.
Is there some sense, because you're doing the cleanup, it's helping the neighborhood that you're contributing?
Yes, it is, because at least the neighborhood looks clean and people look at it and think twice before making a mistake like that.
Is it a deterrent, you think?
What?
A deterrent?
A deterrent.
Yeah.
In other words, a deterrent means that you won't do it again.
Yes, I won't. I don't know.
No, I mean, does that help? Or?
Yes, it does help because it won't make me think twice.
Yeah. You've been through the community court system too. Is it quite different than a regular justice system?
Actually, I've been through both now. This is my first time through here, and there was some talk about giving me some jail time for a traffic ticket, but and I thought I could buy my way out of anything, but but that wasn't the way. There's like you owe the community, and it's better that I come out here and pull up weeds, break, sweep the floor or whatever, and then go to jail. I mean, quite frankly, I'm more of value in the workplace, and for me to to come here and do what's right, if it's good for the judge, it's good for me. I don't belong in jail. I really don't. I don't belong in jail, but but I feel that I learned something from this. Keep my license clean and keep my nose clean.
Yeah.
Listen, stay out of trouble.
They were telling us, and I don't know the history because we're not from here, but that Red Hook, and if you go back, say 15 years,
it's a real bad neighborhood.
It was a rough neighborhood. It's changed quite a bit, I think, in part to this community court and the community itself. Do you guys know anything about that?
Yes, I agree with that. I went to school here. I went to PS and I went to IS. I'm both in the same area, PS 15 right here in Red Hook. And back in the days, you couldn't even walk in the streets without getting thrown with a rock or without getting hit with something. Now you can walk and not worry about it, watching your back.
What do you think's made the difference?
The courts.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
The pressure. The courts don't play. They're not giving you no chances. You do this or you go to jail.
But they're also helping you.
But they also help you because it makes you think twice before making those kind of mistakes again.
Yeah. Did you know the history of Red Hook before? Or?
No, but I can tell you what I think is going on. I think that right now that people are starting to care and they take an interest in their community and they're starting to fight back. And when you start to fight back, what happens? You got to put up a little wall. All right. In other words, you got to stand up against the bad guy to make the bad guy, give up his post. If they hung out on these corners selling drugs right here, and someone speaks up and it's called ratting them out. You get that out your neighborhood. Yeah. All right. Listen, no one wants to be exposed. The devil don't want to be exposed. Put it to you like that. If you're selling drugs and someone's telling on you, the first thing you want to do is run and hide. You want to look for a safe haven. But if the people, stand up for themselves and start telling about what's going on in the neighborhood, like a community watch, which we have on Long Island, you have less crime.
Is there something in, you have to wear these vests. Everybody knows that you're out here. Is there any kind of embarrassment or humbleness or something that you face as a result of this?
I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way for the simple fact that I look at it, I still got my freedom. I'm out here, I still go home to my wife, I still go the same way the judge is working, we working. That's the way I look at it.
Which is way better than jail.
That's right, that's what I'm saying. It's way better, and that's how you gotta look at it. At least we could go home and eat whenever we want, not being there and tell us when we're gonna shit, when we're gonna eat, or when we're gonna do anything.
Yeah.
That's how we look at it. I'd rather do this anytime before.
Does wearing the vest for you have a...
Well, actually,
does it humble you a bit? Or?
Well, first of all, I'm a very humble person anyhow. I'm a born-again Christian. I'm a very humble person, and I'll help anybody out, and that includes this community. It did me no harm. It did my reputation no harm. Listen, I got a house, I got cars, I got beautiful kids, and let me tell you something. Listen, I'll come back and do it again if they ask me. But let's do it on my terms next time. Just ask for my help. You ain't got to force me to be here. Just ask for my help. I'll come. I ain't got a problem with that. And besides, this right here look good.
Well, good luck to both of you guys.
God bless
Hang on
you.
one sec, just to make it a comment here, right?
Yeah. What? So you're Sammy and...
No, I'm Keith.
Keith.
Yeah.
That's Brian.
Good to meet you, Brian. Good to take my hand. God bless you. No problem. Listen, I'm not a criminal. A criminal don't want to be filmed. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I mean, maybe you got some, skeletons in your closet. I ain't got none in mine. Listen, I've been to jail before. I've done time in jail for selling drugs. That's not my lifestyle anymore. You know what I'm saying? I work for a living. And I work hard. I work 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
This right here is killing me on my body.
Did you have a drug problem? No.
I do.
Yeah, you had one?
Yeah. I've been clean for I'm in my third year being clean.
What kind of addictions?
I used to smoke crack. Yeah, I used to smoke crack.
one of the most addicting.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I can say this to you, and I don't know if this is going to help anybody who you may show this to. Listen, you don't want to. That's a drug you don't want to do. You don't want to do drugs at all. Because let me tell you, first of all, they mess you up. They mess up your mind, your body, and your spirit. And when you lose contact with your spirit, you lost contact with yourself. That's the bottom line. Listen, if you want what this world got to offer, you got to do what you need to do.
So in that way, this court, in helping people, is giving you back that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Listen, this is like a pat on the wrist for people that you get arrested.
So yeah, we just need to do this fast.
Okay.
We can cut back to what we did before to extend it, but with this is by way of cutaway. So we'll just come around the thing. This is our main courthouse. As you can see, things are different. The windows are rounded, no rough edges.
Okay.
Blah blah. Open this kind of thing.
Okay.
And then we'll just keep walking, and we'll
just walk right by.
Walk right by.
Okay.
We can talk as we go. You were on the inside, weren't you?
No, I think you had me this way.
Yeah, this would me.
Yeah.
Inside by the.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Anytime? Okay.
So we're approaching the main courtroom, and besides all the problem solving that I talked about that happens inside the courtroom, there's also a lot of architectural stuff that I'm proud of. One is, as you can see from the big windows, the natural light that comes in and makes it feel like a warm, inviting place. The bench for the judge is at eye level, so it kind of fosters communication with the defendants. And also with the window, as you can see, it's a round window. It doesn't have any kind of those square, rough edges. And I think we think about all of these things because we want this to be an environment that people feel comfortable to participate in. And one of the things that people don't feel good about it in a court is that there's the sense of comfort.
This system's been copied by many, isn't it? That
Yes.
must be gratifying.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when we have visitors from around the country and around the world come here asking how we've been doing things, it always makes you feel good to think about the model that you're doing is being duplicated around the country.
Still rolling?
Yep, still rolling.
Good.
Yep. I'm going to do it from the other end, too. Just one, because you guys came in and walked down the hall the other way. Yeah, just to the security and then walk.
No problem. Okay. And then when we walk by, we'll just stop and continue whatever it's talking about.
Yeah, we just go right by him.
No problem.
But
Okay.
again, the same thing. We just starts at the front door. So you just tell me that.
Okay. I think it was on the other side when we came in before.
Okay.
So, welcome to the Justice Center. And really for me, everything starts at the front door, and it starts here with the court officers. The court officers are doing a really amazing job making this feel like a place where it's welcoming and that people can feel like this is not only a court, but it's also a community center. And our court officers have done so much stuff here, everything from mentoring young people to participating in a lot of events, even before the building opened and on weekends. And so when people walk in and they see a court officer, they don't only see the uniform, but they actually see people who are participants in different community events. And I think that's extremely powerful.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes. Gotcha.
But it's a good opportunity for other people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Right. You
get in.
Get in, and then once you're in, you have opportunities to work your way around.
Now, this is your main park in Red Hook. What was it like 14 years ago?
I remember the first time I came out here, you had weeds up to your knees. There was no playground going on, and I remember reading articles. They call this particular park Needle Park.
Needles all over the place?
Needles all over the place. People who were shooting up drugs were hanging out here. It wasn't a welcoming place for kids or families. It was really an ugly eyesore right in the center of this neighborhood. And actually one of the first things we worked on when planning the courthouse was actually forming a group called Friends of Coffee Park, where we started to organize community residents about how to take back their public space.
And they have?
They have. I mean, if you look around, it's well maintained, brand new park space, and a lot of it is in collaboration with community organizations, with the Parks Department, and just being really smart about having people advocate for what's important in their neighborhoods.
And a perfectly safe place when it wasn't before.
Absolutely. I mean, not only safe, but we offer events like movies in a park, Easter egg hunts, and then if you come out here on a Saturday, you have a whole bunch of families sitting on the lawn having picnics. It's beautiful.
So there's a focal point almost.
Absolutely.
Whereas before it was a no-go zone.
It was a no-go zone, except if you were doing something illegal.
Great.
It's about a 10 to 15 minute drive.
And everything in New York is almost better by cab, isn't
Okay,
it?
Brian.
I mean, other than subway.
Well, no,
Okay.
I mean, if I was going to travel within Manhattan, I would take the subway. Yeah, within Manhattan, but obviously from the boroughs.
A park that's the focal point of your neighborhood?
Yeah, this is Coffee Park, and to me, it's really now a meeting place for community residents.
And before you came?
Before I came, there was weeds up to your knees. There was people doing a lot of illegal activity here, and it wasn't a place where you would want your children to hang out. And it goes against everything what a park should be.
And you said needles all over the place. Huh?
Yeah, they used to call it Needle Park, where you know that people were shooting up drugs, drug sales were happening. A place that was very unsafe.
Drug neighborhood.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. A drug neighborhood. It's almost like wherever people bought the drugs and came over here to shoot them up.
Beautiful park.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.